Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to the Watch Box and thanks for logging on. If you like this watch, I have a new direct line for purchase inquiries, tmosso at thewatchbox.com. Anything you need to know about this watch, any watch you're interested in buying, selling, or trading, reach out directly to me and my tech-savvy team at tmosso at thewatchbox.com. And today we're discussing one of the unsung heroes of the 2013 Omega Baselworld novelties. This is the Omega Speedmaster 57, 41.5 millimeters in grade 5 titanium. It's good looking, versatile, and easy to wear. On my 16 centimeter circumference wrist, the 41.5 wears easily. Feather light with titanium case and bracelet. It features a profile that can be measured two different ways. 50 millimeters if we're talking case only. If you include the solid end links of the bracelet, it's a more substantial 54. I still say you could wear this watch on a wrist as small as 14.5 centimeters circumference. The spacing between the lugs, 20 millimeters. If you want to fit it on a strap, that's your size. And the watch is a substantial 16.5 millimeters thick, but I find with the stepped case flank and dramatically domed crystal, it'll actually fit fairly easily, at least under a jacket cuff. Now the timepiece, and I always use the glove to make a unsized bracelet fit my wrist for camera's sake. The watch fits easily thanks to a bracelet that's feather light and comfortable. A 3-link design in the same highly scratch-resistant grade 5 tie. You know it's grade 5 tie because it's polished. You can't do that with grade 2 tie. It's more scratch-resistant than 316L steel. It is harder. It's also lighter and hypoallergenic. Now you'll note that there's a combination of satin outer shoulders. So the shoulders are satin, the center is polished, and the outer faces are polished. The bracelet is sized using screws, and you can see that there are quite a few removable links built in, including half links for precise sizing, and that on both sides of the trigger actuated double deployant clasp. Now roll into the case, you can see one of the reasons this is known as the Speedmaster 57 is because it pays tribute to the original 1957 CK2915, which had a relatively sheer set of squared off lugs. This watch is minimally beveled and squared off in honor of that predecessor. Moreover, it features no crown guard or pusher guard profile, as the original had no such thing. Turning it over, you can see there is a vintage inspired metallic satin finish tachymeter scale. No units, so you can decide whether you're gauging the speed of a car or aircraft traveling in miles per hour or kilometers per hour. You'll also appreciate the fact that the dial has a vintage nostalgic twin register design, although it features hours and minutes on a mono counter with 2 hands at 3 o'clock, as well as the alpha hands featured on the original 1957 Speedmaster. So those alpha hands, which are dart-like and pinched at the center, impart a nostalgic grace as well as a balance that you won't find on the more utilitarian baton-style hands featured on modern moon watches. Now the dial has a glossy lacquer base that is absolutely spectacular, gleaming, bottomless, and lustrous. It looks like wet paint. It seems almost as though you could plunge your finger into the dial. Plenty of lume shot to follow. You could see that all of the indices as well as the Omega logo are blued and they are applied. They are not printed features. The registers are sunken. It has a lovely bilateral symmetry. Thanks to the mono counter at 3 o'clock, you can cut it in half and it's symmetrical on both sides. A few subsidiary features. First, you can move the hour hand independently, and you can even, this is great if you're traveling, note that everything continues. Chronograph, hours, minutes, seconds, and you can jump the date forward or backwards as you cross the international date line. A wonderful travel feature. Pull the crown, hack the seconds, and well, now you've stopped the seconds in the watch, you can synchronize precisely to a reference time. Mechanism, underline, it is a vertical clutch column wheel system, so the column wheel makes for crisp actuation. Hear it against the microphone. It feels as good as it sounds. I'll also mention that the watch features a vertical clutch. So thanks to the vertical clutch, which has no play, there is no stagger or jump to the chronograph seconds hand. And by the way, thanks to a skeletonized bridge, you can actually see the column wheel, black polished by the way, underneath its bridge. The vertical clutch ensures that stagger-free and jump-free start and stop action, but it also has no play. There's no extra wheels meshing. So unlike with a lateral clutch, which needs to be stopped when not in use, you can have center hours, minutes, and seconds just by leaving your chronograph running. No hazard to the watch. 100 meters water resistant, so it's more versatile than the 50-meter moon watch. You've got 54 jewel twin mainspring barrel, caliber 9300. 60-hour power reserve. The mainspring barrels, being 2, give the watch both a longer autonomy between windings as well as better torque release. So unlike a single barrel watch, for example a Rolex, you don't see a dramatic drop off in amplitude after 24 hours. Full balance bridge with a free sprung index for shock resistance and Omega's SI14 silicon hairspring for anti-magnetism. It has a coaxial escapement, the tri-level coaxial, and 20 years ago, Omega built its first coaxial mass production watch. In 1974, George Daniels created the coaxial escapement, perfected 20 years after it first arrived on the mainstream scene. The Daniels invention now achieves its original aims. Tough as nails in the 8500 and 9300 watches, precise in the short term, stable in the long term. It also reduces maintenance requirements, which is why Omega now offers a 5-year warranty on all of its watches. The coax in its final iteration was a big part of that. It is a COSC certified Swiss chronometer adjusted to 5 positions, and the 54 jewel movement is inventively finished. Note the domed bubble-like sapphire on the back over arabesque Côte de Genève on the bridges and rotor, as well as blackened rather than blued or polished screws. A handsome and hugely underrated all-around sports watch that wears well on any wrist and in any circumstance. You can see it and make it yours on the watch box. Omega Speedmaster 57 chronograph by night. Note carefully that the register for chronograph hours and minutes has been fully loomed.